Assalamualaikum and greetings to Dr. Ku. Today, our group will discuss about the microplastic pollution in water.
What is plastic? Plastic is a wide range of synthetic or semi-synthetic material that use polymer as the main ingredient. Plasticity makes it possible for plastic to be molded, extruded or preset into solid objects of various shapes. Plastic exists in several sizes, which are microplastic, macroplastic, and nanoplastic. Microplastics are further divided into two types, which are primary and secondary plastic. The first primary microplastic are the smaller particles formed by the degradation of plastic through physical, chemical, and biological process in the environment. Plastic pollution can occur everywhere in ecosystem but usually found in the hydrosphere. This pollution is the result of disposal of agriculture waste, domestic sewage, and influence. This plastic will turn into microplastic that can further pollute the sea, estuaries, and river. First, let's discuss about microplastic pollution in marine. Laundry, washing, fishing activity, and wastewater treatment plant effluent are the main source of microplastic pollution in the marine environment. Not only that, this pollution also occurs due to plastic food packaging, cosmetic products, personal hygiene, and sanitary products. For example, microbeads from personal care and cosmetic products are not efficiently removed from treated wastewater treatment and are eventually released into the aquatic environment. Who the main culprit behind this pollution? The main contributor for MPS pollution are the fishing, residential, tourism, and industrial activity. They will affect the aquaculture and recreational marine area. For the example of cases around Malaysia, the MPS pollution are found in the water sample collected Kuala Nerus, Terengganu, Kuantan Pahang, Tanjung, Penyambung Mersey, and Pantai Rimis. Kuala Nerus presents as non-urban area that is linked to commercial fishing and the tourism. Meanwhile, Kuantan presents as an urban area with port activity, while Tanjung Penyambung present as a commercial marine fishing area that are away from the main urban area. Lastly, Pantai Remis present as industrial shipping trending area. How does this pollution happen? The research in Teluk Bahang showed that the marine water was contaminated with microplastic due to the contribution of marine debris produced by local human activities. Thus, there is a possibility that the area may no longer be suitable for the aquaculture or recreational purpose due to the concentration of heavy metal in the ocean exceeded the permissible level. The sampling method in this area are by collecting surface water samples in a 5.7 liter calibrated steel sampler. From this study, it is believed that the abrasion-resistant polyethylene, which is widely used in fishing material, are the main contributor for MPS. The founding of the material is not surprising, as the fishing is the one of the general income of residents in this area. Microplastic in marine can also be found in the fish body throughout the main pathway due to the trophic transfer. This is because microplastics are usually mistaken as food by marine creatures of their indirect uptake it as they ingested a contaminated prey. A few studies have reported the presence of microplastic in gills that have been affecting the ventilation system of the fish. So, how microplastic can affect the marine animal? Small size microplastic have a high tendency to absorb toxic pollution on its surface. For example, the toxic pollutant that has affect marine animal are pesticides, PDBE, heavy metal, and PCB. This can cause adverse effects such as energy depletion, fertility, oxidative, neurological damage, suffocation, and starvation, lead to mortality among marine animals, which can reduce marine resources.
Now we move to microplastic in estuary. Estuary areas have been proposed as the pathway of microplastics to the marine ecosystem. An estuary is a semi-closed ecosystem with water input from land and ocean where various contaminants can potentially accumulate. An estuary can act as a sink for pollutants. This unique ecosystem provides shelter for organisms such as fishes, crustaceans, and mollusks. Further, the estuaries act as a buffer zones that protect the ecosystems and habitats from natural processes such as tsunamis and coastal erosions. The main question that pop up here is, what are the sources of microplastic pollution into the estuary ecosystem? The variation in microplastic distribution between the upper and lower estuary indicates that the microplastics originated from the urbanized areas. Recent studies on estuary fishes have confirmed that the main effect on the estuarine and visiting biota expected is the consumption of microplastic items and fishes. Now, who pollutes? The estuary receives tons of effluent and waste discharge from residential and industrial activities. Various pollutants are introduced due to the busy transportation and shipping activities. Who are impressed? Aquatic organisms due to the unique characteristic of microplastic which may draw predators and cause them to mistake them prey. Due to the leaching addition of the microplastics present, the soil biophysical environment was able to be affected as the geochemical cycles within the soil systems were altered. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, microplastics from estuaries are any plastic debris measuring less than 5 mm in length, essentially the size of a sesame seed. Most microplastics aren't purposely engineered. They are the result of larger plastic items such as plastic bags or containers that enter waterways and splinter off into fragments over time, never truly biodegrading. Microplastics can also come in the form of resin pellets, which are typically made from ovular or barrel-shaped pieces of high-density polyethylene, low-density polyethylene, linear low-density polyethylene, polypropylene, polyestyrene, polyvinyl chloride or polyethylene terephthalate. Each of these is associated with various health risks. For estuary, how they determine the microplastic pollution? By particular activities such as wastewater treatment, industry, agriculture, and urban areas appear to be important factors in determining the extent of microplastic pollution. How much of the particles are they found? Around 0.5 to 4.5 particles per L around the estuary surface. Method they are using to determine the microplastic pollution is water sampling, extraction, and visual identification by using stereo microscope.
Now, let's look into the microplastic pollution in river. Plastic debris floating on surface water has now become an environmental issue concerning its abundance and fate. To date, discovery on the occurrence and impacts of microplastic in marine environments have been reported by many studies. However, less investigation has been carried out in freshwater environments. The occurrence of microplastic in Malaysia is also unknown. Thus, from here onwards, we are going to look on the microplastic abundance in sediment from Skuda and Tebrau River in Malaysia. Next, if you think about who pollute the river, humans take a big part in it. All microplastic obtained in this study are derived from the fragmented and weathered of larger plastic items associated with local human activities, such as direct disposal and indirect disposal of plastic materials down to the river system by many reckless users. Apart from that, Microplastics also are derived from wastewater treatment plant and industrial pressure near plastic manufacture and sewage treatment plant. For the part where surface sediments were collected from Skudai and Tebrau River, in each river 3 subside sediments were collected between 2 meters, then mixed together into a stainless steel tray as one sample. Then few methods were conducted in order to get the results, such as digestion of biogenic materials and density separation and identification of microplastic particles. The microplastics were detected in both rivers. The average concentration in Skudai and Tebrau River were 200 plus minus 80 and 680 plus minus 140 particles per kilogram respectively for both the rivers. Meanwhile, the dominant size detected in both rivers was 1,000 to 5,000 micrometer, occupied more than 60% of total particles. Microplastics lead to high risks such as release hazardous organic pollutants and act as a carrier to transfer them. They also, the consumption of microplastic by the aquatic organism will cause a disturbance in their physiological functions. It also affects food chain and food web due to the uptake of microplastic among aquatic organisms. Microplastic also affect human health risks such as causing liver dysfunction. In conclusion, sediment from both urban rivers are polluted with microplastics, where the high concentration can explicitly be observed in the Tebrau River. From this study, we get to know the importance of regulation of plastic materials and recycling plan as to prevent the increasing of this threat in the aquatic environment. And we also get to gain insight in the source as well as the associated impact with this pollutant to environment and possible effect to aquatic biota health through microplastic ingestion.
That's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.